Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Julie Onyando's Tech again. Karibu. Today, I'd like to talk about what's most likely to happen if you don't speak up when you should. This is based on my experience.
We touch, we break, make it seem like we feel the same. We love what we hate. We lie, but we know we can't wire it.
Well, to understand where I'm coming from, I'm the last of 5 siblings. And 2 months after I was born, my dad was out of the picture for reasons that neither him nor my family could control. And I grew up hearing stories about how life used to be back then when he was with us, and kind of felt like I had missed something. Well, a few years later, around when I was, I think, 10 or 12, I really can't remember exactly how old I was, he came back into our lives. But then a few years after that, he passed away. 2.5 years after he had passed away, my mom also passed away. So all this happened during my teenage years. So I grew up feeling like I had missed something. I had kind of missed something in my childhood. I would look at other families, look at my friends and their families, and really wished I had what they had. I really wished I had somewhere where I belonged. I wished I had this foundation that other kids had. So I would really try to fit in and try to make sure that I please everybody so that I can belong wherever it is or in whatever environment I find myself in. And part of trying to fit in meant for me I had to accept everything that was thrown my way. And that also means when something was said to me or when something happened, whether I felt it was right or wrong, I wouldn't speak up. I would just accept and go with the flow, because at the end of the day, my aim was to be part of this place I found myself in. Well, not speaking up so that I can be acceptable to everybody else worked perfectly for everybody else except for me. It helped me stay out of trouble and stay out of drama with other people. But the problem is the trouble and the drama was with me, because I wasn't okay with myself. I had an internal conflict with myself. I had a problem with my self-esteem. I had a problem with being forced to do things that I would rather not do. I had a problem with saying no when I was saying yes when I actually wanted to say no. I had a problem with going places that I really didn't want to go. I had a problem with accepting mediocre judgments. I had a problem with laughing off comments that really hurt me inside, but it was easier to laugh them off so that we don't get into a discussion, don't get into a conflict with these people. It was easier to just flush things under under the rug, so that we don't have to have any kind of conflict or have to have any kind of discussions about these things. So this works perfectly for everybody, but it wasn't working for me, because deep down inside it kept building until it reached a point in my life where I had overcome so many obstacles, and the people in my life, or the people who knew part of my story, felt I was in a point in my life where I should really be proud and happy about the things that have happened in my life. Yet for me, deep inside, I felt kind of empty. Suppressing my feelings for a long time had caused me to be kind of numb to my own feelings. I walked around looking happy and looking excited about things that were happening in my life, but deep down inside I knew I had a conflict with myself, and this is something that nobody was going to help me solve but myself. So I had to make a cautious decision and decide I have to really work on myself and figure out what is it that is actually making me not experience life like I'm supposed to experience it. Listen, you can accomplish so much in your life. You can have everything. You can achieve so much in your life. But until you work on the conflicts that you have within yourself, until you work on the traumas that you have, until you work on the grief that you have, you will never really be 100% okay. Now, just a side topic, grief is something that I would like to talk about in my channel at one point, because actually that's one thing that I never really knew that I hadn't worked on until I was forced to sit down in my line of work. There's a time we had a seminar about grief, and that's the first time in my life that I actually, this topic is kind of heavy for me, that I actually grieved for the first time the losses that I had incurred in my life. So yes, I started working on myself, and I started saying no more often, and I started giving my opinion more often, and I started saying no to assumptions about me that were not true. I started entering into discussions with people. I started just picking up my mind and saying what really affected me in my life, and things that affected me positively and things that affected me negatively. And that is also one reason why I opened this channel, because I wanted an outlet where I could talk to somebody somewhere who might be going through what I went through or what I am going through. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm okay now. I am a work in progress. But maybe there is somebody out there who is going to be on this journey with me, so that we can be okay together. Needless to say, I started to do what is right for me, and obviously I ended up pissing a lot of people off. I know I'm pissing a lot of people off, but you have to choose at one point. It's either your mental health or the satisfaction of everyone else around you, but not you. So at this point in my life, I choose me. Since I started speaking up my mind and speaking up my truth and saying when something wasn't right with me, there are some people who have walked out of my life, which is okay with me, because the right people will stick in your life. The right people will stick with you. And I sleep better, and I'm feeling better about myself, and my conscience is clear, and I'm actually at peace with myself. I've even learned to accept compliments, because before this, honestly, I remember getting compliments sometimes from my colleagues at work, and I'm like, yeah. I don't know why it was hard for me to even accept compliments. That's something that's just crazy to me when I'm thinking about it right now. I'm like, why is that a struggle? Why was that a struggle? I'm not saying it wasn't a struggle. I'm not saying it was a struggle. Actually, I have to say it's a struggle, because it's something that I'm learning to do right now. I guess I just didn't feel like I was good enough for the compliments. I didn't feel like, I don't know, I can't tell you what it is, but yeah, I accept compliments right now, and yeah, I'm proud of my achievements, and yeah, I carry my crown with pride, because hell, I've worked my dare off to get to where I am, both physically and emotionally. So yeah, I accept my crown, and I take all the compliments with pride, and I speak up my mind, and I say when something is okay with me and when something is not okay with me. So speak up your mind. If something is not okay with you, speak up. And if you don't speak up, don't go blaming the people for doing whatever they did when you are the one who didn't even speak up your mind and say whether that was right with you or not right with you. Speak up your mind, and trust me, there is a lot of freedom in speaking up your mind. Until next time, have a blessed day, have a beautiful day, and remember to speak up your mind. Open your mouth and say what really bothers you. Say really if it's okay with you or if it's not okay with you. Okay? Till next time. Bye-bye.
We touch, we break.